Hello, it's Eric from E.M.B.R. and today we're doing stage 3 of the April Z Racing Series, LaGuardia After Party. I had some goals here. Mostly I'm still focusing on the overall leaderboard rather than the individual race, but I'll let pre-race me tell you about that. Here with a couple friends, Mr. Thomas Sorensen, Mr. Pedal on YouTube, a great cyclist from Denmark. Thomas and I will try to keep the pace up, unless someone else is doing it for us. Trying to get around 29 minutes for the route and still have legs for the KOM. That's the goal. Helps to have some friends. Again, Thomas is the only one that I'm technically working with, but we'll see how it goes. Legs felt a little in the warm-up and the openers, but hopefully we'll be alright as we go. Definitely hoping others will do the work so I don't have to early. As always, I'm going to include the whole race, but I will time-lapse portions of it that are a little bit slower, and I'll put chapter markers in at the bottom to navigate as well. Feather, if I get it after the third banner, I'm going to save it. Early, I might use it. But as we get into this first lap, I'm trying to settle in, tail gun a little bit at the back to see how it goes, see if some other folks are going to be willing to push. On the right in sauce, you can see my name's in blue, and then people I follow, their names are in green. Thomas is the main one you'll see that's going to be pushing towards the front here. Again, we didn't talk much before the race. It was just, hey, if the race is slow, one of us can push. Hopefully, we'll see if I've got legs, but Thomas is definitely more fit than I am. He qualified for the elite races in the Zwift games and participated in those, did quite well. He's also done Danish national champion for esports and those sorts of things, so definitely better fitness. He's actually doing me a favor here. More of a workout for him than a race, but it helps. I will have regrets if I don't get a feather back, but 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 50% chance at each. Yeah, I popped the feather on the way up just to conserve some energy up to the crest, and now just gliding downhill. Main thing you'll see here is when we get to the bottom, Thomas starts to push again. Down the decline, no reason to push, but once we hit the flats here, he's just trying to keep the pace up, pushing hard. I'm kind of sitting back, seeing if some folks are going to follow. You see some arrows popping, and hopefully I can chase the chasers. But yeah, Thomas definitely doing some work here. Thank you, Thomas. Yeah, as he hits it there, long string chasing. I don't want to get right up on his wheel. I'm hitting arrow there just to get in the line. And if you poke a little bit, sometimes people take up the mantle and do the work for you. So some people come through. We're also sort of on a downhill, so not pushing too much power here. Waiting for the next time it punches up. But for the most part, the field is doing a little bit of work here. We do this punch up. I got no feather or anything like that at this point, so I'm just following the line. I do try to punch over the crest there to take some speed, but now you can see I'm in the air, but I left with power, let people flow over me. And then Thomas will get to the front here again in a second once we get to the bottom of the hill. As you're descending, again, there's no reason to waste power pushing, but as soon as we get to the bottom of the flat, bang, he's out again. Hopefully I can do it. And that hopefully I can do it. I'm feeling it a little bit. I mean, I definitely asked Thomas to push the pace, and he's doing it. And I don't type very well if you watch my prior videos, so I'm not really communicating during this whole race. We're just sort of playing it as it goes, but there's occasions where he's pushing and I'm going, ouch. Any feather after this we keep. Definitely wouldn't pop it on a downhill. Yeah, no idea why he popped his feather on the downhill there. We're all just coasting for the most part, which is in the typical fashion. Again, Thomas isn't pushing right now either. I'm going to slow it down here just to show you how we're generally doing this. But yeah, on the uphill here, other people are pushing power, and so we're just following the best we can. I'm definitely have to stand up and grind some power. Each one of these is hurting cumulatively. I will tell you that. We're on fourth version of it so far. But pushing up, trying to get in the line, take power up into the crest. I'm passing Thomas right there in the Sisu jersey. When I get to the crest, I'm trying to let off power and just let gravity do the work. Let some folks fly by me if they can. Again, it's a little stretched out, that's fine. Hoping for a feather here, and again, if I get a feather, I'm going to keep it as I mentioned. Main thing, I just don't like the odds. Alright, we keep that. even 50-50 of not having a feather when I want it to the end. Yeah, Thomas and I are both off the power here on this section. It's all good. You can kind of see here he's inching up, inching up, inching up. As you come off the descent here.
That's Thomas pushing the front. Why is he using air to get a speed differential?
And there's some folks up there working with him. But yeah, basically agitating, pushing on the front, and driving the pace during this part of the route, which can get a little resty. You know, people will settle down if you're not pushing. So he's just driving pace when people would otherwise settle out. And again, the goal is to try to get us in around 29 minutes. At least that was how I set it from a target perspective. That was my goal. But yeah, he pushes, and you push hard enough. Some folks, other folks are agitating, but in general, it keeps that pace up during the section. In a perfect world, when he lets off the power, I could roll over the top and then do some pushing, but my legs were not feeling it today. Would have liked to let him know that. He was kind of doing fairly well, just kind of spotting me in the field and pushing accordingly. I'm glad he kept pushing because it kept the pace honest when I otherwise wouldn't have been able to. For my part, I'm trying to be as efficient as possible, use the power when I need to come up to a crest like this, and then once we hit the crest, get off the power.
Speed down this hill. Little pop here. Back off.
And just settle in the line and let draft do the work.
No feather.
And I already mentioned it, but that's my mental note, not to use my feather on the next ramp, even though people are going to be hitting it hard. I'm not playing the odds, I'm saving it. And on that ramp, you can see people are popping all their feathers for the most part. Fire socks are going off. I'm having to push 700 plus watts. Get up to the crest. As soon as I get to the crest, I want to take it over the crest of power and then get off down to 100 watts or so, coasting down, following the line. And you've seen this play out before, but as we get towards the bottom, you see Thomas's Sisu jersey pulling through, pulls through the front, arrow goes, bang, he's off to the races again, and pace is being kept up. And then I'm speeding this bit up here for a little bit. Thomas is out there doing work. I'm in the line, just trying to catch draft. As we get to a little bit of a uphill, he comes off power. I try to follow this lead. They slow down a little bit, so I did get my nose out to the front for a second, but I let folks flow over again. For my part, I'm just trying to stay efficient back here in the line. I had originally intended to help, but each one of these anaerobic kits is really adding up on my legs, and I'm just doing my best to hold on.
Again, take speed down, but not power. Thomas's fitness is much, much greater than mine. I think he's getting a workout today more than racing.
Yeah, Thomas definitely knows how to ride very efficient like I am when he's like saying the elite Zwift games and he's having to chase people that are super fit, but here he's absolutely doing work and it's greatly appreciated. And speaking of efficient riding, I may have gotten a little too efficient here, falling a little bit to the back, so I'm trying to hit it a little bit and let Thomas know I'm okay.
Just a little pump down the hill.
I'll speed it to 200%, but watch what that little pump of power does.
You saw what I get off it, right?
That is a good demonstration of what a little punch of power can do when you take it into a descent. Mission accomplished, though. You can see me again, so that's good. That's what we wanted.
I think Thomas took my nose in the wind as a sign to go, which maybe. Getting concerned about the legs at the end, but we'll see.
My mind and body are arguing a little bit about the pace there. My mind wants us to go fast. My body's not so sure.
Yeah, somebody's going. I don't need to chase that per se.
Yeah, I said where my mind and body were, but now we're late in the laps and people are going to counter, and certainly they are. And my feeling here is we can let somebody dangle. If I can just follow Thomas's wheel or chase the chasers, we'll be all right, hopefully. So that's what we do. I sort of sit in line here. Thomas is also sitting back. No reason for him to do work right now. We're both of the same mind.
I can chase the chasers.
That's right, chase the chasers. And so sit in line, come down these descents, what's going to get off the power, those sorts of things. I do look up at the time gaps, though.
I never saw the person go 34 seconds off. Hopefully that's a misread.
And yeah, I think that 30-second guy was a lapped rider or something like that. So big punch here again on the ramp, taking speed up, and then getting off the power again, following these folks out. Just gliding down the best I can here in the wheels, but knowing that we're about to make a left turn and it's going to get very, very serious going up the KOMs. And as soon as we hit this first ramp, I'm standing up, driving power. Thomas is go. We can talk about this, but yeah, he's go, and I'm just trying to. It's not super draftable here. I'm catching what 30, some 40 watts maybe a draft, but I'm just trying to stay in his wheel here, drive power the best I can. Trying to conserve again. I know my legs aren't exactly where we want them to be, but he's pushing hard. I know that we're gonna hit some flats here. We get a little chance to catch a breath, so we're gonna do that. And I have slowed this down to 100% because this is kind of the sticky point of the race. So Thomas is hitting it, and again, you still do have a guy 10 seconds up the road, which now everybody else is pumping too. You hit this one, 13-14%. The watts are hard. Still feeling all right here. It's not great, but I'm like, we could be okay. Again, 12%, you gotta stand in punch power. Suffer face for sure. Probably could have pushed that a little bit further into the crest, which I think you saw me hit it again just a little bit to try to keep the speed up. But just getting off, if you get off the speed wrong, you can see people will gap, like without just a little fall in the back there, which is fine. You know, I'm in draft here, but we definitely got to get on it here for this next bump. Kind of get off the back. I feel myself pulling to the front there, so don't want to. Again, the draft is somewhat minimal, but I still don't want to be pushing any harder than I need to right now. And I also don't have that much gas left in the tank. I can feel that. You can see in my face, I feel that. Definitely a punch there. People are again, try to take speed over the crest if you can. Keep the pace up. That's what I'm trying to do here. Get on the power. Get the speed back up to sort of flat speed from that incline, but they are stretching me out right now, and I'm feeling it. I could probably do a little better pulling up a little closer at this point. Heart rate's in the 180s, so that tells you it's hard right now, and this big ramp's coming. I didn't intend to hit my feather here, but everybody starts popping it, and I'm thinking I'm going to get dropped off the back, so I did. The reality was probably would have been better spent on the second half. Fear in the face, primal yell. They're going hard, and they're carrots up the road, so they definitely want to catch that. I did not take pace over that. I was feeling a little gassed, and I got a feather that's wasting in the flat. Suffer can is losing my head, but you can hear the suffer. Sweat's flying off my face. Yeah. There were 9 people on bikes that just mugged me at LaGuardia station. What happened here? I did not have the power I needed. I was gassed. That work to keep the pace up was not the best. Like, I needed to be super fresh for this part, and I was not. Now the eye's on the prize. So 29 minutes. 29 minutes. Get under 29 minutes. That's confidence in my face, not fear. What are you talking about? Bang. 28:59. We had it all along. Was there ever any doubt?
That is a group of folks. Good job, Thomas. Good Lord.
And here are the full stage results in ZRS and on Zwift Racing app. Full credit to Matthias, who did 4.2 watts and came in first. That's some efficient riding right there. A few folks did quite well. Thomas absolutely banged it, being as inefficient as he was trying to carry and still finish in third. I rode fairly efficiently with 4 watts per kg, but yeah, I definitely fell off the back there at the end. Keeping the pace up definitely was not the best for me in terms of the actual race strategy, but what I was focused on was the overall, and we'll cut to that here. I knew if we could get down around 29 that would pop me up pretty far on the leaderboard. I've had pretty good times on the first 2 races again because I've been focusing on the overall time more than just the race itself. Definitely punished myself by doing that in terms of my ability to win the actual race I'm in. Races would definitely set up better for me if they were kept very docile in the middle and then I had full punch in my legs for the end. But I like the challenge of chasing the overall, and it's also making my intensity day on Tuesday a true intensity day and not just a zone 2 with a punch at the end. Speaking of intensity, as you could tell, that one left me broken at the end.
Ow! I get my legs spinning, or they will lock up.
And here I am slowly hunting and pecking, trying to type at Thomas, just saying thanks.
This is why I didn't type during the race, Thomas.
Yeah, I can pull out the keyboard sometimes, it's a little bit easier, but when racing hard like that, it's definitely hard for me to communicate.
Oh. Had to stop and chat with Thomas for a bit. He agitated a ton. He was doing the opposite of efficient riding up there, just trying to keep the pace up. We didn't say much before other than try to agitate the pace if it was going slow. Goal was to get through the laps at a good pace so that we could maybe reach the banner at 29. Try not to kill my legs in the process. If I had done that agitation at my fitness, I'd have been a broken man at the end. As it was, with Thomas doing the agitation, I was still a broken man at the finish on that last hit. I said it when I was warming up. I don't think it was on camera. That ride on 30 KM breakaway on Saturday, even with a zone 2 day on Sunday and a very light active rest day yesterday, that ride's still in the legs. Now this one's in the legs too. But good news is we get to do some cool downs here. I might do one more little poke at Carlberg, the new short KOM that's up, just to see what it looks like. And it's maybe 1 or 2 last punches of intensity, and we'll shut it down. And strength day this evening. So I may film that. I've been meaning to just show what I'm doing for strength training. You can see over there, not from this camera, from that camera, up, down, left, right. That gets used. It's not a pretty background or a clothes hanger. I'll show what I'm doing specifically for cycling strength training. I do some upper body stuff as well. That used to be 6 days strength training, 2 days cardio, and a rest day. That used to be how I did things. Now it's more 7 days cardio. Some of those zone 2 are active rest. A couple intensity days. 1 day legs on strength and 2 days upper body. And the strength training happens in the evenings, and I do the upper body I do in zone 2 days for cycling. Lower body I do after the short intensity day on Tuesday. Can't tell, fairly regimented and routine right now. 5 zone 1, zone 2 days, volume or active recovery. 2 intensity days on the bike, 1 short on Tuesday, 1 long on Saturday. You can see me in that race. 7:15 ESD on Tuesday in the ZHQ race, and right now it's been 10 a.m. on the Epic race on Saturday. That's how it's going to be probably through the summer. But that's the what's next if you're following. Right now I'm gonna get to 25 kilometers, take a pause, look at the metrics, and we'll see you when we're talking about those. I was working here, as you can tell. Would like to have a little more kick. These didn't wear me out too much. Yeah, definitely just cumulative or whatever. Yeah, towards the end, right at the 29-minute marker, we crossed. I think it was 28:59 or 29. Try to find the pixel. Yeah, close enough. Somewhere right around there. And then right around there.
But it shows better in intervals. If you look at it with each one of those anaerobic hits, you can just see W bow coming down and just not getting back up because the next one hits and the next one hits, and then eventually you get to that final bit and I'm about half full, and by the end, well, I guess you can go negative. But great training in impulse, got the 29-minute time we were going for, so I call it a good day. But if you're still here with me at the end, thanks for listening and sticking around. As for what's next, it's either going to be that strength training video if I can find time to edit it, or if not, probably the Kalberg climb portal. I'll definitely be hitting that hard on Thursday at the end of a zone 2 session. So more to come. We'll see you guys.